You know that feeling when you walk into a room and suddenly can't remember why you're there? Or when a familiar name is right on the tip of your tongue, but it just won't come to you? We've all been there, but after 65, these little memory slips can start to feel more concerning. What if I told you that simple daily habits could be the key to keeping your mind sharp and potentially avoiding dementia as you age? The truth is, our brains are just like muscles, use them or lose them. But here's the good news. It's never too late to start strengthening your cognitive health. In fact, researchers have found that lifestyle choices may be even more important than genetics when it comes to preventing dementia. That means the power to protect your brain is largely in your hands. Today, I'm going to share with you 6 daily habits that can help keep your mind sharp. These aren't complicated medical procedures or expensive treatments, they're simple, practical things you can start doing today that make a real difference. Let's begin with the first habit, and this one might surprise you: social connection. You might not think of chatting with friends as brain exercise, but study after study shows that staying socially active is one of the best things you can do for your cognitive health. When we engage in meaningful conversations, our brains are working hard processing language, reading emotions, recalling memories, and formulating responses. I want you to think about Margaret, an 82-year-old from Florida who joined a weekly book club after her husband passed away. At first, she just went for the company, but after 6 months, her daughter noticed she was remembering details better, telling stories more clearly, and even solving crossword puzzles faster. That's the power of social connection. Now, you don't need to become a social butterfly if that's not your style. Even small interactions count: a daily phone call with a friend, volunteering at the library once a week, or joining a gardening group. The key is regular, meaningful engagement with others. Our second brain-boosting habit is physical activity. But don't worry, I'm not talking about running marathons or lifting heavy weights. The kind of movement that benefits your brain is often much simpler than you might think. Take walking, for example. A 30-minute daily walk does wonders for your brain by increasing blood flow and oxygen, stimulating the growth of new brain cells, and even helping to clear out toxins that can contribute to cognitive decline. And here's something. Fascinating studies show that walking in nature might be especially beneficial because it combines physical movement with the calming, stimulating effects of being outdoors. I remember a viewer named Robert who wrote to me saying he started taking his granddaughter to the park every afternoon. At first, it was just to spend time with her, but after a few months, he realized he was remembering names better and feeling more alert throughout the day. That's when he learned about the connection between regular movement and brain health. Now, the third habit is all about challenging your brain in new ways. This doesn't mean doing more of the same puzzles you've always done, though crosswords and Sudoku are great. The real magic happens when you learn something completely new that forces your brain to create fresh neural pathways. Maybe it's learning to play an instrument, trying your hand at painting, or even taking a class at your local community center. The key is that it should feel slightly challenging. That stretch outside your comfort zone is where the growth happens. I'll never forget Helen, a 78-year-old who decided to learn Spanish after her doctor suggested brain exercises. At first, she struggled, but within a year, she was having simple conversations, and her memory tests showed noticeable improvement. What's wonderful about these first 3 habits is how they build on each other. You could join a walking group, social connection plus physical activity, or take a dance class, movement plus mental challenge. Every positive choice creates a ripple effect of benefits for your brain health. Now that we've covered the importance of staying socially connected, keeping physically active, and challenging your mind with new activities, you might be wondering about the role of nutrition in brain health. That's exactly where we're headed next. You've probably heard the saying, "You are what you eat." But when it comes to your brain after 65, this couldn't be more true. What you put on your plate doesn't just affect your waistline, it directly impacts your memory, focus, and even your risk of dementia. Let me tell you about my neighbor, Frank. At 72, he was forgetting appointments, struggling to follow conversations, and convinced his memory was slipping for good. Then his daughter, a nutritionist, helped him overhaul his diet. Within months, he wasn't just remembering birthdays again, he picked up chess for the first time in decades. That's the power of feeding your brain right. This brings us to our fourth habit, eating for cognitive health. Now, I'm not talking about restrictive diets or expensive superfoods. The best brain foods are probably already in your kitchen. Let's start with omega-3 fatty acids. These healthy fats found in fish like salmon and sardines are like fertilizer for your brain cells. Research shows people who eat fish just once a week have sharper memories than those who don't. Then there are berries, especially blueberries and strawberries. These little antioxidant powerhouses help reduce inflammation that can damage brain cells over time. And don't forget leafy greens like spinach and kale. One fascinating study found that older adults who ate about 1 serving of leafy greens daily had the cognitive ability of someone 11 years younger. But here's what's equally important: what you shouldn't eat. Processed foods loaded with sugar and unhealthy fats don't just hurt your heart, they can actually shrink the memory centers of your brain. Think of it this way: every time you choose nuts over chips or fruit over cookies, you're investing in your cognitive future. Now, our fifth habit might surprise you. Quality sleep isn't optional, it's essential for brain health. During deep sleep, your brain does its housekeeping, clearing out toxins and consolidating memories. Without enough quality sleep, harmful proteins linked to Alzheimer's can start building up. I know what some of you are thinking. Easier said than done at my age. Believe me, I understand. Many of us struggle with sleep after 60, but small changes can make a big difference. Try establishing a calming bedtime routine, maybe reading an actual book, not a screen, or listening to soft music. Keep your bedroom slightly cool and completely dark. And here's a tip many overlook: limit liquids 2 hours before bed to reduce nighttime bathroom trips. Our sixth habit is about managing stress. Because chronic stress doesn't just make you anxious, it can physically damage your brain over time. High levels of the stress hormone cortisol have been linked to memory problems and even shrinkage in the hippocampus, your brain's memory center. But here's the good news: you don't need to eliminate stress completely. That's impossible. You just need to develop healthy ways to manage it. Simple breathing exercises like inhaling for 4 counts, holding for 4, then exhaling for 6 can calm your nervous system in minutes. Gentle yoga or Tai Chi combine movement with stress relief. Even tending to a garden or listening to calming music can significantly lower stress hormones. What's remarkable is how these habits work together. Eat brain-healthy foods, and you'll sleep better. Sleep better, and you'll handle stress more easily. Manage stress well, and you'll have more energy for social connections and learning new things. Each positive choice builds on the others to create powerful protection for your brain. Now, you might be wondering about supplements, brain games, or other ways to boost cognitive health. That's exactly what we'll explore next, separating the science from the hype to give you clear, actionable strategies. Now that we've covered the foundational habits, let's talk about some powerful but often overlooked strategies that can give your brain extra protection. These aren't replacements for what we've already discussed, but rather enhancements that work alongside them to build what scientists call cognitive reserve, your brain's ability to withstand damage. One of the most exciting developments in brain health research is the importance of purposeful living. Have you ever noticed how people who stay engaged in meaningful activities tend to stay sharper longer? There's actual science behind this. When you wake up each day with something that excites you, whether it's volunteering, caring for grandchildren, or working on a creative project, your brain releases protective neurochemicals. I remember a retired teacher named Evelyn who started tutoring neighborhood children. Not only did her students benefit, but her family noticed her memory and quick thinking improved dramatically within months. Let's talk about hearing health, something most people don't connect to dementia prevention. Here's a startling fact: untreated hearing loss can increase dementia risk by up to 50%. Why? Because when your brain struggles to process sounds, it diverts precious cognitive resources away from memory and thinking functions. The good news? Modern hearing aids are discreet and effective. If you've been putting off that hearing test, consider this your sign to schedule one. Another crucial but often ignored factor, eye oral health. Strange as it may seem, gum disease has been linked to increased dementia risk. The theory is that mouth bacteria can enter the bloodstream and contribute to brain inflammation. My friend's father, a dentist, always says, flossing isn't just about keeping your teeth, it's about keeping your mind, Make that dental hygiene routine non-negotiable, and don't skip your regular cleanings. Now, let's address medication management. As we age, many of us take multiple prescriptions. Some common medications, including certain sleep aids, antihistamines, and even some antidepressants, can affect memory and cognition. This doesn't mean you should stop necessary medications, but it's worth having an annual medication review with your doctor to ensure everything you're taking is truly essential and optimally dosed for brain health. Environmental enrichment is another powerful tool. Simply changing your surroundings can stimulate new neural connections. Try rearranging your furniture, taking different walking routes, or even visiting new places in your community. These small changes force your brain out of autopilot mode. One study showed that seniors who regularly visited art museums showed measurable improvements in cognitive testing. As we wrap up these advanced strategies, remember that consistency matters more than perfection. You don't need to implement everything at once. Even adopting a few of these practices can make a significant difference in your cognitive future. The key is finding approaches that fit naturally into your life so you can maintain them long term. Now, let's address some common concerns and questions I often hear about dementia prevention. Many viewers ask about supplements, brain training apps, and other products claiming to boost memory. In our final segment, we'll separate science from hype and give you clear guidance on what truly works. Let's be honest, when it comes to dementia prevention, there's a lot of noise out there. Every week, it seems there's a new miracle supplement or expensive brain training program claiming to be the ultimate solution. It's enough to make anyone's head spin. So today, let's cut through the confusion and focus on what actually works based on real Sciencino marketing hype. First, let's talk about brain training games and apps. You've probably seen those commercials promising to sharpen your mind in just 10 minutes a day. Here's the truth. While these games might make you better at the specific tasks they involve, there's little evidence they translate to real-world cognitive benefits. That doesn't mean they're worthless if you enjoy them. By all means, keep playing, but don't rely on them alone. Instead, focus on the kind of rich, varied mental stimulation we discussed earlier, learning new skills, engaging in deep conversations, tackling creative projects. That's what truly builds cognitive resilience. Now, what about supplements? Walk into any pharmacy and you'll see shelves full of bottles claiming to boost memory and brain health. The reality? Most have little to no scientific backing. Let's look at a few common ones. Fish oil, omega-3s. While getting these from food, like fatty fish, shows clear benefits, studies on supplements have been mixed. If your diet is low in omega-3s, a supplement might help, but eating more fish is even better. Vitamin E. Once touted as a brain protector, recent research suggests high doses might actually be harmful. Stick to getting vitamin E from foods like nuts and seeds. Ginkgo biloba. Despite its popularity, major studies have found it doesn't prevent cognitive decline. The exception? Vitamin D. Many older adults are deficient, and low levels are linked to cognitive issues. Ask your doctor to check your level. Supplementation here can make a real difference if you're deficient. Here's something else important. Managing chronic conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, and even depression isn't just about physical health, it's crucial for your brain too. These conditions can accelerate cognitive decline when left unchecked. Working with your doctor to keep them well controlled might be one of the most powerful things you can do to protect your mind. Now, let's talk about technology. Many seniors shy away from new tech, but used wisely, it can actually support brain health. Video calls with faraway family provide social connection. Apps can remind you to take medications or stay hydrated. Even learning to use new devices provides mental stimulation. The key? Approach technology as a tool, not a replacement for real-world engagement. One of the most powerful but underrated tools? Music. Whether listening to familiar songs from your youth, which can spark memories even in advanced dementia, or learning to play an instrument, music activates multiple brain regions simultaneously. It's like a full brain workout, wrapped in joy. As we near the end of our journey, I want to leave you with this thought. Protecting your brain isn't about fear, it's about empowerment. Every positive choice you make creates a ripple effect, that can preserve your cognitive vitality for years to come. In our final segment, we'll bring everything together with simple, actionable steps you can start today. No expensive programs or drastic lifestyle overhauls required. Because the best brain-healthy life is one you'll actually enjoy living. We've covered so much ground together, from the power of social connections to the truth about brain-training games. But here's what matters most: how you'll put this knowledge into practice in your daily life. Because information without action doesn't change anything. Let's create your personalized plan, but with a crucial understanding: this isn't about perfection. Miss a day? That's okay. The magic is in the consistent effort, not flawless execution. Start with this simple exercise. Grab paper and pen. The physical act of writing helps cement ideas in your mind. Now, choose just one habit from each category we've discussed that resonates with you. 1. Social connection. Maybe it's scheduling a weekly coffee date with a friend, or joining that community choir you've been curious about. 2. Physical movement. Perhaps a daily 15-minute walk after breakfast or gentle chair yoga every morning. 3. Mental stimulation. That photography class at the senior center, or finally learning to play chess with your grandson. 4. Nutrition. Adding leafy greens to one meal daily, or switching from processed snacks to nuts and berries. 5. Stress management. 5 minutes of deep breathing before bed or keeping a gratitude journal. Here's the key. Start smaller than you think you should. Want to walk 30 minutes daily? Begin with 10. Aiming to read more? Start with 1 chapter a night. These small wins build confidence and create momentum. Now, let's talk about tracking progress in a way that doesn't feel like homework. Try this. Keep a simple calendar where you mark each day you complete your chosen habits. Notice subtle improvements. Maybe recalling names comes easier, or you feel more alert in conversations. Celebrate every victory, no matter how small. Remember George, the retired mail carrier I mentioned earlier? He started with just 2 changes, a daily walk and switching his afternoon cookie for walnuts. 6 months later, he'd added a Spanish language podcast during his walks and was planning a trip to Mexico City. That's how lasting change happens, gradually, joyfully. One final, crucial piece: community accountability. Share your goals with someone who'll support you without judgment. Maybe it's a friend doing their own brain health journey, a family member who'll cheer you on. Even the comments section below, our community here is wonderfully supportive. As we close, I want to leave you with this. Protecting your cognitive health isn't about adding more shoulds to your life. It's about rediscovering the vibrant activities that make you feel truly alive. The conversations that light you up, the hobbies that make time disappear, the movements that energize your body and mind. Your brain is listening to how you live each day. Give it connection, challenge, nourishment, and rest, and it will reward you with clarity and resilience in return. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which habit will you start with? Share in the comments. Your commitment might inspire someone else to begin their own journey. And if this series helped you, pay it forward by sharing it with a friend. Here's to your sharp, vibrant mind, today and for all the years ahead.